The movie we're talking about today is Two Tigers, Two Brothers. The movie we're talking about today is Two Brothers from 2004. It was directed by Jean-Jacques Anand, and it stars Freddie Highmore and Guy Pearce.
Hi, I'm Guy Pearce, and this is my 7-week-old friend Mika. Recently working on the film Two Brothers, I've probably spent more time with tigers than most people would in a lifetime.
You might know Freddie Highmore from Bates Motel, or The Good Doctor. Two Brothers centers around twin tigers who get separated very young. They used over 30 tigers to portray these two twin tigers through various stages of their lives. They had to use different tigers to portray different behaviors. When the tigers were young, they used actual twin tigers to portray them, and they were named Manny and Moki. In the film, the tigers' names are Kamal and Sangha. Like I said, there was over 30 tigers used to film this movie. One of the tigers that played Kumal would actually go on to play Aslan in Chronicles of the Narnia: Lion, Witch, the Wardrobe from 2005. All the filming of this movie was done in Cambodia. Jean-Jacques Anand had already been famous for his work with animals before this film. In 1988, he made a film titled The Bear, where he used similar techniques to get the animals to behave the way he wanted without forcing them. There was a renowned tiger trainer on set as well named Thierry Le Portier, who had worked on Ridley Scott's Gladiator in 2000. He worked on The Bear with Anand as well. There was extensive use of the real animals in this film. The CGI was mainly for like the fire, the digital effects, the high danger situations where they would use animatronics as well. The production built giant containment zones. Instead of caging the tigers, the human film crew worked from inside protective cages while the tigers were given freedom of movement in the environment within the enclosed set. The crew then used CGI to digitally erase their own cages and barriers from the final footage. The tigers never actually interacted with the actors. They would use compositing, so the tigers and the actors were never on the same set. They would stitch the shots together into a single frame, making it look like the tigers were standing inches away from Guy Pearce or Freddie Highmore, who was much younger at the time than when he played Bates Motel. All the smoke and fire was CG, so the animals were never in any harm. In fact, there was never any. The movie never faced any controversies or allegations of any cruelty to animals, nothing like that. The film does depict intense scenes with animals on screen, but like I said, there was never any harm, or the production was closely monitored by the American Humane Association, and in fact, it was renowned by animal rights groups for embracing the message it had against the exotic pet trade and the circus industries. All the tigers used in this film were Indo-Chinese tigers. The film takes place in 1920, and in the 1920s there was around 10,000 Indo-Chinese tigers alive. And by the time when this film came out in 2004, there would only be roughly 3,500 to 5,000 Indo-Chinese tigers in the world. By 2010, Indo-Chinese tigers were declared functionally extinct in Cambodia, where this movie was filmed. The two twin tiger cubs in this movie, Kamal and Sangha, when it starts out, they have different personalities. Kumal's a lot more bold. He's more temptive. He jumps off the trees and he's more assertive. While Sangha, on the other hand, he's more timid. He's more reserved, and that's a big part of this movie, the personalities of these tigers and how, when they're separated, how the environment, the captivity where they're kept, changes them as they go through their life. The tigers do end up being separated. Guy Pearce plays the hunter. He's trying to get raid these ruins for money to sell things, and he happens upon the tigers, and one of them will get sold to the circus. Kamal gets sold to the circus, while Sangha will ends up at a being adopted almost to a high end richer family, a French administrator, Freddie Highmore's family, and lives with them. Sangha and Freddie end up bonding until an incident occurs, and then they have to get rid of the tiger. And he ends up being bought by a prince, and the prince doesn't treat him as well as Freddie Highmore's family did. Kamal pretty much spends his whole life at the circus. Tigers do end up reuniting at a certain point. I think that part's pretty realistic. I don't want to spoil it or anything. I think it has a good ending. I think this movie is worth watching. I watched this movie a bunch as a kid. I guess upon rewatching it, it might seem sort of maybe B-movie-esque a bit, a little lower budget, but I think it still holds up. I don't know if in the future, going forward, if movies will use real animals like that anymore, with AI and stuff, especially using 30 tigers, and they can just use AI to maybe use one tiger and then change its age digitally. There's a lot of intense scenes in this movie, and get pretty does a good job of making you not like the handlers of the tigers in the movie, like the circus, how the circus people treat them, or the prince, for sure. I hope you find this movie maybe worth watching, or if you've seen it before, let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching TrueTubes.